I'm Leo Walder for Kit Guru. Look, no table. Today I'm reviewing this chair, which is a Vertagear Triigger 275. I'm also reviewing the Vertagear Triigger 350, so a pair of chairs. Similar but not identical. The names come from Triigger, Triigger, because of these control triggers here for the height and the angle of the back, the lean, which makes sense. It's a little play on words, slightly misspelling trigger. The snag is that the very thick user guide has a few other typos in which aren't quite so deliberate, which is unfortunate. The 275 350 is the number of components, or more than 275, more than 350 components in the chair, because under the base where the triggers hook up to the controls via cables that run through the arms, all manner of gears and such like under there, lots of little bits. Vertegear makes mention about various technologies in the chair, and it's very easy to get a little bit flippant about it. So the steel cables are similar to those in suspension bridges, and the calfskin leather is some super duper calfskin leather, and the DuPont fibre is similar to that in whatever racing cars, and so on and so forth. If you get past the gloss and actually look at the chairs themselves, they're very fine bits of hardware. The thing is that Vertagear is aiming them directly at gamers. Gamers spend hours playing games, therefore you need support. Makes perfect sense, and I get that entirely. The thing is that, to my mind, and it's quite a fundamental point, having observed gamers, including members of the family in action, when you're playing a game, you tend to lean forward, and that means that your back and your shoulders aren't supported correctly. But of course, no chair on the planet can support you correctly if you lean forward. If, on the other hand, you're looking for a decent office chair, you're going to be sitting there for hours doing spreadsheets, documents and whatever else, then a decent chair is very important. It's also a very decent market. So the fact that Vertagear is saying these are gamers' chairs, yeah, okay, but they're also office chairs. And compared to some of the racing seat gaming chairs that we've seen at Kit Guru, these are actually quite understated. The 350 comes in black, although there is a 350 SE, which is black and red, much like this. The 275, which is slightly cheaper than the 350, comes in 4 different colour combos, but fundamentally it's black with a bit of colour. So nothing to shout about, perfectly pleasant compared to some of the other colour combos we've seen in some other chairs in the past. These are really understated and actually quite sophisticated, and compared to various office chairs you might see around, these are actually really attractive. So the materials are absolutely spot on. Build quality is good. You don't have to do any assembly when you receive the thing, mainly because the mechanism that these triggers hook up to is so complex. So you get the thing out of the box, plonk it on the height adjusting ram, plonk that into the base, put in the 5 casters, job done. The casters are 65mm diameter. If you buy the SE model, they're a bigger 75. They're a hubless design, which means that they have a bigger bearing, so they're meant to roll across floors more easily. I cannot honestly say that they compared much differently to my regular office chair. They certainly do, both these chairs do certainly roll smoothly, so no problem there. The look of the hubless bearing is really quite swish, so perhaps that's a plus in and of itself. The triggers being the main feature, so the right hand one is for height, so you trigger it and then you can rise up and down. The left, you trigger it once and can then lean back, and you can lock the back in whichever position you want out of 22 different positions. That works well. On this 275, the back is also adjustable for height. It's quite a simple thing, literally goes up and down. You can lift it to the top, drop it back down again. It's got 3 different positions, nothing too radical. The seat base also moves, can click forward and back to bring your, basically your lower back into the seat back or otherwise. And you've got tension control on a handle down here to adjust how easy, otherwise it leans back. It's a solid, decent chair, and if you swing around to the back, you'll also see it has lumbar support, which is essentially a glorified plastic strap that can go up and go down. Works very well, and indeed the 275 is a perfectly decent chair. The Vertegear Triigger 350 is simply better than the 275. It is very similar. It has one fundamental difference, which is around the back. If you look, the shape of the back is quite different on this chair compared to the previous. And it doesn't have the rise-fall function of the back that you get with the 275, but that really doesn't matter. What instead you get is the ability to move the back in and out very slightly to get the lumbar support precisely positioned in the small of your back. It makes a massive difference and absolutely leaves your back and your shoulders feeling supported, and at the end of the day you feel as fresh as a daisy, relatively speaking. 275 good, 350 better, and that's all there is to it. Pricing. Let's talk money. They're both expensive. The 275 is £530, the 350 is £630. If you go for the 350 SE, that's £790, which just seems like a huge amount of money. So I got a second opinion. I asked an engineer I happen to know, happens to be a German. He's started working from home quite recently. He's been looking at office chairs. He was not aware of Vertagear. Asked him to take a look, see what he thought, and he reckoned the 275, £500, pretty blooming close, and this 350 he reckoned £800. So actually this chair is priced lower than he expected. So there we have it. In the official words of a German engineer, this chair is actually, relatively speaking, a bargain. He made a further interesting observation, which was this. To his mind, this chair is actually not quite sophisticated enough. He wants to see more technology used that you see in cars. So motors in the seat, so you can set the position of the back, the base and such like, the height. Hit a button to store those settings, and that's your settings. Then when someone else comes along to use the chair, they can set it however they want. You come along, one button, bang, job done. Now, I have no clue how much that would add to the price. I'm sure an awful lot. But the very idea that this £630 chair actually could be more sophisticated, more advanced, was like, oh, okay. So, very much a matter of your perspective. You may think that £630 for a chair is crazy expensive. I would actually argue if you spend a lot of your working life sat in a chair looking at a screen, actually it makes far more sense than I would have thought at the start of this review. The idea you could spend yet more money and get better value, well, there you go. What can I say? It definitely makes you stop and pause for thought. So, I started this review thinking that £500 or £600 for a chair, a gaming chair, was a questionable move. For gamers, it depends how you sit. If you sit leaning forward, I would argue that you're going to lose half the benefit of this chair. Office workers, on the other hand, yes, absolutely, you should take a look at Vertegear. Forget the fact they're selling them as gaming chairs, they're decent office chairs, that's what they are. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you want more from Kit Guru, do click to subscribe. Head over to Kit Guru to see photos. I'm Leo Walden for Kit Guru. This is Vertagear Triigger 350.